Community Board minutes, 1st of December, 2nd of February, 19th of February. I'll put, moved by Phil, seconded by Tim. Put that motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Say no, that's carried. I'll give you a free hit as well.
So just briefly on page 280, there's a motion we passed asking for advice on the current proposals and the long-term plan for mediating Worsley's Road exit into Cashmere Road and installing traffic lights on Dyers Pass Road, and addressing whether two projects can be considered together in terms of design, etc., etc. Just wanting to flag that as something that is of top priority for the community.
We look forward to your submission on the LTP amendment. Yep. Thank you.
And moving on to the next report, which is on page 291. Would you like me to comment now? Or?
No, we've done all the minutes, so okay. I'm just giving you a free hit. Is there anything that you want to...
Choice. So page 293, we have an informal agreement now with staff that we'll be kept in the loop when any public realm trees are going to be removed. I think that all community boards would appreciate being kept in the loop early on in the process, just like with most things. Page 295, just note that the council, after the ASI committee made a recommendation on the Buchan Park swap and exchange, we had some more discussions with community and unfortunately didn't come to any consensus on the merits of the exchange and swap proceeding. And the date for the confirmation of the agreement has lapsed, and that's a great, I think that we'll look back at that and see that as a significant loss for our community, and I feel really bad for the Sikh Society who were actually put in that position by council, but I think that was done with the best of intent, and I think that it is a shame, but I want to commend the Sikh Society for the way that they've conducted themselves throughout the process.
Phil.
Can I just comment? I think the lesson learned from this is that small parks, for example like Buchan Park, there's every reason that what happens on those parks should be delegated to the community boards. That's what we learned.
But it wasn't able to be resolved though at the community board.
No? We ran out of time, and quite understandably the Sikh Society chose not to pursue that any further, and amidst some very loud and strident opposition,
which we heard at the committee.
So do you think that you would have been able to resolve it with further time?
I think with further discussion at the initial community board level, that we would have resolved it. I think that clearly, given the time that it all took, as Paul is indicating, the applicants, the Sikh Society, ran out of patience in effect and are looking elsewhere for other land.
And they have a site where they have the right to build, and they're proceeding where they're into detailed design. So they will be there, and they will be a part of Sydenham, and the community board looks forward to their further involvement.
Okay.
Next, I just wanted to note with sadness the recent passing of Christina Loughton, who was a champion and a pioneer in the transgender rights in Christchurch, and an incredibly brave person. And I'm sure any of you who are familiar with her will have known that and appreciate her service to the community.
Yep. Thank you.
And finally, just want to commend Rowley again on page 302. I wasn't able to be at this meeting because my son was in hospital with a broken arm, but we had a bunch of young guys from Rowley come and talk about wanting to put lights in for a basketball hoop. You'll see their names in the agenda: Michael, Antonio, Callan, Shaquille, Bailey, Patti, Bailey, and Christian. Rowley is an amazing community. You go back 20 years and you look at the huge progress they've made, and they are leading the way now into Christchurch in terms of community development in lower socioeconomic communities.
Yep, it's in the right direction.
Yep.
Good stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you. Pam, would you like to come and join us? We've actually already passed your minutes, but I've given the two guys at the end a free hit. I've described it. So I'd like to give you one too, since,
I'm pleased they came back, but I don't know what Andrew said.
No, so we just passed the minutes, and that was all, so that leaves that opportunity open to you.
Oh, right. Well, as you know, the freedom camping issues have caused us quite a major issue, so I just really wanted to thank the staff for their involvement in the process, and we await what happens. But it's been a challenging time for us all. We sincerely acknowledge the community and the aspects of that have affected them and impacted on their lives and things. And as I said, we will wait forward until the next step. We know a lot more now than what we did before about freedom camping and about moving forward and how we might look at what might be resolved with the issues that we need to look at, including going down to looking at the sites more closely, and for us on Banks Peninsula, looking at what the water supplies are like, have they got, the streams got minimum flows, if they've got water in the blocks or whatever it might be. So there are a whole lot more issues now that we need to address when we're looking at freedom camp, and maybe it might be a whole different way of camping on Banks Peninsula down the track. They might be all in holiday parks and camping grounds. Wouldn't it be good? So the other things that we're excited about, the reopening of the Gaiety Theatre on the 1st of April in the Oddfellows Hall, and it's on the celebration of Oddfellows as well. They actually had a walk around there this morning, which Andrew and I have missed. They had a pre-look this morning, so but we do look forward to the opening. I know. She looks magnificent, the old lady, standing on the corner, beautifully coloured and painted, and we look forward to that occasion. The other thing is that the season of the cruise ship season is coming to an end. It's always a lot of pressure on our communities, and even a lot of those that are involved with the management of the tourist season have felt the pressures once again this year and always look to the end. But we just need to thank all of those people that are involved with managing those that industry, including Environment Canterbury and the Harbour Master and those that work with us as well to ensure that we have a well-managed season. So I could talk for hours about things, the positive things that are happening in our community, and we do need to focus on those and the amazing support that we get from people. But our communities are very important. They know a lot about our communities. And as we've learnt through the freedom camping process, they often know more than what we do, and we need to work collaboratively. And Leanne, as you said yesterday, the community is a very important part of being resourceful. Perhaps we didn't say resilient, did we? I didn't say resilient, but being resourceful and getting on with life and doing some of the things that council can't always do. So thank you for the opportunity to have my little say this morning. Thank you.
Just one of the feedback on one thing is that I've been talking to a number of the other South Island mayors, and it's been interesting that their experience of freedom camping has been different in different parts of the country, and they've taken different approaches too. So wheel clamping in Queenstown has had an incredibly dramatic effect on breaches, which have disappeared largely. So different experiences as people have had the bylaws for the first time. I think we need to share our experiences across, particularly the South Island, because we have, a particular propensity for people to fly into Christchurch and then basically do the round trip. Spoke to the Mayor of Nelson, I spoke to the Mayor of Dunedin, and there are nuances and different approaches that have been taken. So I think that trying to get some feedback and initiating a bit of a questionnaire around the South Island, just to see what the feedback has been, their experience, what their bylaw was, what did they find worked, what did they find didn't work, and the community engagement as well. So I'm hoping that will then enable us to put some clarity around where the problem really lies, because I don't think that it's just in the bylaw. I think it may be in the overarching legislative framework that we operate under, and it also may be in terms of the different approaches around contained and non-self-contained. Not contained, self-contained and non-self-contained.
Right, yes.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting experience, but our experience is not unique, but our experience can be quite different from what other areas, smaller town centres have approached things in a different way.
So will you lead that process of talking to the South
I want
Island?
to do that around South Island mayors, just as an informal approach.
Right.
And once I've got that feedback, I want to feedback to all of them and then see whether we need to take it further. But it's interesting, sometimes people forget that when you start with a problem, you should always start by defining the problem. And actually, until we've had the experience of the bylaw in place in these different parts of particularly, as I say, the South Island, and the reason I want to pick the South Island is because every bylaw has an effect, a flow-on effect into the neighbouring district council. Not one, it almost, and I don't want to go to a solution, but it might be that a matching bylaw across the South Island might be easier to communicate than individual bylaws that don't have a connection with each other. So anyway, as I say, defining the problem means that we need to gather information about the experiences of the different districts and cities in the South Island.
I can assure you we'll all do our bit in asking, whether it's through Local Government Commission, Local Government New Zealand, our members of Parliament or whatever it is, that we do need to look at tourism and how it is managed in New Zealand. It'll only get more. I am an ex-holiday park operator in Hamner Springs, so I have experience at it, know what it's all about. But, we do need to get something that will help us all throughout the country.
Yeah.
And it's not just to resolve our issue.
Yeah. No, Yanni, I'm not taking questions. I'm just giving Pam a free hit, and then I took one myself. So there you go. And that's the benefit of being the chair. So thank you very much, Pam. Much appreciated. Right. So